Welcome everyone to the YouTube channel here, and it is Champ Week, and you already know what time it is. 4 tickets are about to be punched this weekend, starting tonight in about 30 minutes from now. The Ohio Valley Championship between Morehead State and Little Rock. It's going to be a great matchup. I'm going to break down that matchup. I'm also going to break down the Big South Championship between Longwood and UNC Asheville. I'm also going to break down the ASUN Championship between Austin Peay and Stetson. And then maybe a little bit of the Missouri Valley because Drake and Bradley are still in progress right now, but the winner of that game will face a very good Indiana State team, and I will break down that as well. So let's dive right in to our first matchup, which is the OVC Championship between the 3 seed Morehead State, the Eagles, against the 1 seed, the Little Rock Trojans. So based on the numbers and details, pretty similar, evenly matched in terms of statistics. Based on field goal percentage, rebounding, assists, blocks, steals, pretty even. Both teams are playing very good basketball right now. Morehead State's won their last 5 games, and they have the Ohio Valley Player of the Year in Riley Mannix, who came over from an NAIA school, averaged around 20 points per game and almost 10 rebounds per game. He's going to play almost the whole game, if not the whole game tonight. They also have some really good guards, like first-team OVC selection Jordan Lathan, who averages just under 16 a game and shoots 37% from beyond the arc. They also have a really good knockdown three-point shooter in Khalil Thomas, who averages about 12 points per game, but hits over 42% of his triples. Just last night against Tennessee Martin, he hit 7 out of 10 from beyond the arc. So if he's on fire, Morehead State's got a legit chance of winning. And also Drew Thelwell, very experienced point guard that they have, 9th in the entire nation in assists, and he set a program record for assists in a single season, averages about 6.5 assists per game. This Morehead State team, really tough defensively. They only allow 63 points per game, which is top 10 in the entire country. They're also top 10 in field goal percentage defense. They hold opponents under 39% shooting, and they do a very good job defending the arc. And they only allow 29% of opponents' threes to go in. So Morehead State has a legit shot of winning this game, beating Little Rock, and they had a tough battle back in February where it was a 69-68 Little Rock victory. Morehead State got off to a really slow start in this game. They were down 14 early, but they did a great job fighting back. They actually ended up taking the lead in the second half, but then Bradley Douglas hit a go-ahead basket in the final minute for Little Rock to seal the win and get that number 1 seed, which was super important, straight to the double bye. Morehead State is going to be in for a battle against a very talented Little Rock team. So let's break down Little Rock. Little Rock, very talented team. They've won 10 in a row, which is one of the longest streaks in the entire country. KK Robinson, they're all first-team OVC point guard, leads the way with 15.8 points per game, 4.3 assists per game. They also have another first-team All-OVC player in Jameer Chaplin, who transferred from South Florida, averages about 14.8 points per game and 6.5 boards. They also have D'Anthony Gordon, who was an All-OVC player last season, and they also have Bradley Douglas and Mikel Mitchell coming off the bench. And yes, this is a 7-man rotation that Little Rock and Morehead State both like to run, and I do like that Mikel Mitchell is playing really good basketball right now. And with Mikel Mitchell in the lineup, Little Rock is 13-3. And without him, they're 7-8. So he's a huge reason why they are playing some really good basketball. Little Rock also has the freshman of the year in the OVC in Jalen Crocker Johnson, who had a really good game last night against Western Illinois. They did a great job defensively against the Leathernecks, and that's why they're in this spot right now. And I just think that it's going to be a great game between the two teams. And I got to go with Little Rock 75-70 is my prediction for this game. And Little Rock's going to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2016. So the next championship I'm going to break down is the Atlantic Sun Championship. And that is going to be on Sunday in the afternoon. We got Austin Peay against Stetson. And that's going to be a fun matchup. We had a very good matchup the first time those two teams met back in February. It was a great matchup. Stetson won the game 83-82 in their only head-to-head meeting. And this is going to be a fun one. We're going to start off with let's break down Austin Peay. Austin Peay, they were the 4 seed in the ASUN. They beat North Florida in overtime, and then they also beat North Alabama in a very close game as well in the semifinals to get to this point. And DeMarcus Sharp is a stud, absolute stud. 17 points per game, 6.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists per game. He leads the Governors in all of those categories. Coming over from Northwestern State, where he was the Southland Player of the Year last season. He came along with 4 of his other teammates, Jamonta Black, Isaac Haney, Jordan Wilmore, and Hansel Emmanuel, coming along with their head coach Corey Gibson, who is an Austin Peay alum. And he's done a great job. He's in those camo pants, getting the crowd hyped, standing on the scores table. I mean, you love to see that kind of energy in March. The Governors are a very solid team. They also added Desi Jones, who had a big game against North Alabama, 34 points in that semifinal win. Sharp had 35 against North Florida to avoid being upset there. And they also have a big man that's pretty good and Say Witt, who can really get some buckets down low. And he's had some huge games, especially when DeMarcus Sharp was injured. He missed 7 games. I think this is going to be a fun matchup. A weakness of Austin Peay is their free throw shooting. They're not a very good free throw shooting team. They only shoot about 68% as a team. But one thing they do really well is ball security. They only turn it over 8 times a game, which is 6th in the country. So Austin Peay is not going to make many mistakes. And they have really good guard play and balance. And any one of those players can go off on any given night, which makes this team scary. So let's go break down Stetson. The Hatters are looking for their first ever NCAA tournament. They're the 2nd seed in the ASUN. They have the ASUN's leading scorer in Jalen Blackman, just under 21 points per game, and he's also a 39% 3-point shooter. And he shoots 92% from the line, which makes him a really efficient player and just so dangerous. They also have 2 really good Belgian players, starting with Stefan Swenson, averaging about 6 assists per game. He had 28 points against Jacksonville in that semi to put them in the spot, hosting a conference championship game, trying to go to the tournament for the first time ever. Then they also have the big man, Alvin Gadarizzi, who has had an amazing ASUN tournament. He's shooting 17 of 19 from the field and has 43 points in their 2 games. He had 20 against Queens, 23 against Jacksonville. And even though his free throw shooting isn't great, even though he went 5 of 11 against Jacksonville from the line and almost cost him the game, he is so good around the rim and what he brings to the table defensively. Stetson, what they do really well is they shoot free throws really well. They shoot 77% as a team, which is one of the highest marks, the best in the ASUN. They are a very accurate 3-point shooting team with Swenson. Alec Oglesby shoots around 40% from beyond the arc as well. This is a team that's not very deep either. Both teams will probably play around 7 guys. But I think Stetson really wanting to go to the NCAA tournament for the first time ever, being at home. I just feel like Stetson at 13-2 at home, whereas Austin Peay is 4-11 in true road games. I gotta go with Stetson, 86-82. I expect a higher scoring game and a close game. So give me Stetson over Austin Peay. Next, we got the Big South Championship, which is going to be a good matchup between Longwood, the Longwood Lancers, and the UNC Asheville Bulldogs. And it's going to be a fun game. They split head-to-head in the regular season with Asheville winning 65-61 the first one, and then Longwood won the most recent meeting, 80-75. So it's going to be a really tight game between these two. I mean, Longwood just came off a huge upset over High Point in overtime in the semis. They actually beat High Point twice in a span of a week. So they're very confident. And they're led by their second-team All-Big South point guard, Waylon Napper. About 14.5 points per game, 4 assists per game. And that senior leadership he brings to this team. They also have Jonathan Massey coming off the bench. Simon Zappala comes off the bench, average about 11 points, 9 points respectively. Then Michael Christmas about 11.6 rebounds per game. This is a tough Longwood team. They actually won the Big South tournament 2 years ago and made the tournament for the first time ever and now they're looking for their second ever NCAA tournament appearance. what they did well against Asheville is they won the rebounding battle both games. In fact, in the game they lost, they had 20 offensive rebounds. But the problem was they fouled 23 times and they only made 3 3-pointers. So if they make some threes, but the time they won, they made 13 3-pointers. And they only fouled 16 times. So they cut the fouls down, they made threes, and Napper was very solid in both games. That's the way that Longwood would win this game. Because they're solid defensively, they allow less than 70 points per game. And offensively, they're pretty okay. They're about 75 a game, which is respectable. And yeah, I think that if Napper has a good game and these other role players like Tucker, you got Massey, and Zapala and all those other guys play well, they give contributions off the bench, I think Longwood can pull an upset. But UNC Asheville is tough. I mean, they're looking to repeat as Big South champions. They had the number 2 seed. Actually pretty thrilled that High Point lost this game because High Point and Asheville would have been a shootout. That would have been a fun one. But this one against Longwood is going to be a little more of a slugfest kind of battle. Asheville hasn't been playing that great recently in the Big South tournament. They had to get past a very pesky Charleston Southern team in the quarters, and then they also needed an extra 5 minutes to beat Gardner Webb in the semis here tonight. So I think that if Drew Pember, the 2-time Big South Player of the Year, if he has a good game, I think that Asheville can win this game. His ability to get to the line, stretch the floor, is just a matchup problem for any kind of Big South team. I even think High Point could struggle against Drew Pember, a player like Drew Pember. I mean, the guy is an absolute stud. I mean, he's averaging about 20.5 points per game, 8 rebounds. He almost had a triple-double today against Gardner Webb. Yeah, he double-doubled, but he was 1 assist away from a triple-double in that game. Pember also shoots 47% from the field, 84% from the line, and 37% from beyond the arc as a 6'11" center. So he's just a matchup problem for anybody. They had Josh Banks from VCU, averaging just under 13 a game, provide some more experience and senior leadership to this roster. Fletcher Abe's a knockdown 3-point shooter, shoots over 40% from beyond the arc. And then he also had their 6-man Nick McMullen, who averages about 10 points a game and 6 rebounds. So yeah, this Asheville team is very experienced, very skilled, and they have this championship pedigree. So I think this is going to be a fun matchup. But I think Asheville squeaks it out. I say about 77-72. I got Asheville over Longwood and going to the NCAA tournament. And then finally, I got the Missouri Valley. We got Indiana State. And they'll be taking on the winner of Drake and Bradley. And it's going to be a fun one, no matter who Indiana State plays. I think the Sycamores are one of the more fun teams to watch. I mean, they literally gave Robbie Avila the nickname Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which is quite creative and really, really interesting because he is really skilled. I mean, the guy can really hoop, and he may not look like a guy that can hoop, but he definitely can. He averages about 17.5 points per game, about 7 rebounds. And he shoots the 3 pretty well, man. He shoots just under 40% from beyond the arc as a center, which is impressive. I mean, this Indiana State team is so skilled offensively. All 5 starters average double digits. Avila leads the way with 17.5. You also have Isaiah Swope about 16.5 points per game. He shoots 36.5% from beyond the arc, and he shoots a lot of threes. And then you also have South Florida transfer Ryan Conwell, averages about 16 a game. He shoots over 40% from beyond the arc. So he's a knockdown 3-point shooter. And then you also have Jason Kent, average about 12.5 points per game and 8 rebounds per game, which actually leads the Sycamores. And he's actually a 33% 3-point shooter, which is respectable. And then finally, you have Julian Larry, about 10.5 points per game, 4.5 assists, 1.5 steals, and he shoots 46% from 3-point line, which is crazy good. So you can't really just leave anybody open on this team. And they average about 84 points per game. They make 11 threes per game, which is top 10 in the country. They also shoot 38% from 3-point line as a team. They shoot just under 80% from the foul line. So this is a team in close games that can win a lot of close games due to really good free throw shooting. And no matter who they draw against Bradley or Drake, I still think Indiana State can beat both of them. And it would be a fun matchup no matter who Indiana State will play. So my predictions to recap: I got Little Rock over Morehead State. I got Stetson over Austin P. Asheville over Longwood, and I got Indiana State over whoever they play between Bradley and Drake. So if you have not already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and to the Pokeball YouTube channel. And this is your boy Dan Spielvogel signing out.